Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. If you're new here, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below and subscribe if you wish. I'm a Canadian. Thought this might be an interesting one. American versus British versus Canadian English word differences. I'll give my perspective and how I interpret the word. We have a Canadian girl here and an American girl. They'll probably have a lot of, I would think they would have a lot of the same vernacular, vocabulary. The Brits, of course, you guys use certain words differently. They have different meanings, and I love that about language. Language is, forever interesting to me. It looks like the first one, they're talking about a stag party or stagette party. Well, the stag party would be for the boys. Like, I just had a stag party. You can call it a bachelor party. I would think a stagette party would be... It's usually called a bachelorette party, or what do they call the women's one? Stagette? I would think that would be a male and female. Let's get into it.
A stag party or a stagette party? Yeah, so a loony, and then we have a toonie. Yeah.
Loony and toonie, that's our money. Loony is $1, toonie is $2.
That sounds like a one.
I know,
a 1-2. Get a 2-4.
Do I have a 2-4 on aisle 12?
Hello.
I don't know about a 2-4, but I'll do a 2-6.
Hi, I'm Lauren from the UK. Hi, I'm Callie from the US.
And I'm Sydney from Canada.
So obviously when I was in Montreal and Quebec, everyone was speaking French. Luckily I know quite a bit of French, I was okay. But obviously that was difficult, like the language thing and like going into a coffee shop and having to like order in French, and I was really nervous.
Yeah, that's relatable for most Canadians. A ton of Canadians, Western Canadians, just Canadians in general, don't know French, even though it's one of our official languages. But it is pretty localized and regional to Quebec, so...
Stuff like in Toronto, there was obviously like no real language barrier. And then Vancouver, everyone was really friendly and really kind, so I love Canada.
Shout out to Vancouver, that's where I'm from, but yeah, she said everybody's really kind and friendly. I wouldn't think any British person would have any language issues coming to an English-speaking country.
Canada also loves the UK, so...
It might be the odd,
Everyone loves Canada. I've
misunderstanding,
never heard anyone talk smack about Canada.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
Canadian
We
English.
have a thing called Canadian raising. So how would you say ICE?
Ice.
Ice.
Yeah, for us it's ice.
So your intonation is like, woo?
Like question mark?
Yeah, so it's not even a question mark, but it rises naturally. So that's why a lot of people
Ice.
will think that we say about. Really, it's just like about. So that's like that whoop.
Ice.
I've never heard anything about this whoop. I say ice like this. Do you want to grab a bag of ice? Do I say it funny? It's gonna be pretty icy outside. You're probably gonna want to wear some boots. Hey, we're getting a 24-pack of beer. Lucky's, the good stuff. Make sure you get 3 bags of ice, because we need ice all through the night.
In the UK, we call this a coach station.
Bus station.
Like we don't call them buses.
I'll call
we
it
call
a
them
bus
coaches.
station.
So like the buses are like normal transport buses, and then the big ones that go to like airports or other cities are coaches.
I think of coach as like a soccer coach.
I think it comes from the horse.
Yeah, I think of the horse-drawn.
In the US, we would call this a bus station.
Yeah, and then in Canada, we'll call it a bus depot, or some people even call it a bus station. I guess it really depends on which area in Canada, or like what they grew up with. Definitely have the mixture between American and Canadian.
I've definitely heard bus depot before. I think it's kind of same. Like if someone said bus
I've definitely heard bus depot too, but I feel like she's just like trying to come up with different words.
depot in the States,
For the
like
sake
it
of the
wouldn't
video.
sound strange.
It sounds so weird to me. Bus depot.
Bus depot.
Like,
What do you think of when you hear a bus depot?
I would think it would be where the buses
Greyhound.
would be like resting at the end of the day. You know, like after the buses have been going around all day, that's where you keep them, like to store them, kind of thing. Like,
If I hear like bus depot, I think of just like a place where
A
you
bunch
can
of
go
buses.
to buy buses type thing.
Like office depot.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
office depot type thing.
I'm gonna go buy myself a bus. In the UK, we
Those
would
are fire
call
trucks.
this a fire station.
In the US, we would also call it a fire station, or some people might call it a firehouse.
House.
I'd call it a fire
Canada
station.
will say fire hall. Some people also mention it as fire station.
They all make sense. They're all just words for different buildings, I guess.
I don't know why we have hall. Why we all.
I've heard fire hall too, but nobody's gonna second glance if you just said fire station, fire hall, the fire station. I feel like she's just being a bit extra here.
And decided to go with hall.
Fire hall. It makes sense, but like we don't use hall for anything except the hallway.
Oh, okay.
So to me, it's a little strange, but in the context of it coming from that side of the world, it makes sense. We don't say
No
anything
city
for
hall?
City hall.
Yeah, we often use hall for like a venue or like a performance place or just like a hall. Conference center. Hall.
Oh, we call it the town hall. Okay,
Town
yeah.
hall.
Okay, yeah.
So if
City
you were just to
hall.
hear like fire hall, what would you think? Like if someone's like, oh, there's the nice fire hall.
There's a corridor.
That's on fire.
That's on fire.
Or it's painted like fire.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, no, I would immediately think of like a corridor rather than like a building.
We don't use corridor
But
that
in the
much
UK,
either.
this is a hen do if it's for the women. It's a stag do if it's for the men.
A Hindu? I never heard Hindu.
Hindu.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I've never heard that. Hindu.
Yeah.
Stag do for the boys?
In the US, we would call it a bachelor party for
Yeah,
the boys
bachelor party or
a
stag.
bachelorette party for the girls.
I've heard that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. In Canada, we actually will use a stag party or a stagette party. Yeah, or we'll use a bachelor party or a bachelorette party. And then some people
I don't know why stagette was so funny to her because bachelorette, it's the same.
even say a hen party.
Oh, okay. So you got that influence like from
A hen
both.
party?
Yeah.
You drop the do.
Yeah.
I've never heard hen
A hen
party.
party, and I guess some people in Canada they might say like a Jack party or a Jill party, Jack and Jill party.
Jack and
No.
Jill together?
Yeah.
No, nobody's saying that.
Or just a Jack
Opposite.
party?
A Jack party and a Jill party. But I personally haven't heard that amongst my friends. But amongst my friends,
If you haven't heard it, then what? Just say the main one. We use stag or bachelor. They're interchangeable.
we'll say a stag party, stagette party.
Stagette is too funny.
But it makes sense, like bachelor and bachelorette.
Yeah.
Stag,
Stag
stagette.
Yeah, I don't know why she's.
Cute.
It's not that funny.
Welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just
Yeah, I just feel like the Canadian girl. She's giving too much.
Okay, we would say pound or pounds.
In the
Pence.
US, we would say a buck or just like a
Dollar.
dollar. Yeah, if you're talking about the paper itself, you could call it a bill too.
Oh, so we say note.
Dollar
You guys still
bills,
have $1
y'all.
bills, eh?
Yeah.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the
Canada
money.
will say a loonie. Yeah, so a loonie, and then we have a toonie. Yeah.
What?
Toonie is $2 in one coin because we have no dollar bills for $1 or $2 anymore. We did way back when.
Like this, when you were saying it, I got like flashbacks of my friends being like Looney and the Toonie.
Looney
Do you have a
Tunes.
toonie? Like, do you have a toonie you can give?
Yeah, it's so cute. I love it.
You knew that from Canada?
Like,
I always thought the Looney and Toonie were kind of funny, but I love them. Loonies and Toonies.
as soon as she said it, I was like, I remember now.
Really?
Yeah.
In Canadian context, like if you're talking about money, of course, be like, do you have a loonie? Do you have a toonie?
Would you be like, oh, it costs a loony?
Yeah, it costs a loonie. So it depends on the person as well. Some people be leaning more towards just saying a loonie. Others will just use like a dollar instead.
Yeah. We use dollar. How many dollars do you have? Just give me $1. Looney, Toonie.
So in the UK, we would call this an ice pop or an
Freezy.
ice
I call it a
lolly,
freezy.
depending
I
on
bet
the
Canadians call it
in
different
the US,
stuff.
we would call it a popsicle.
Canada, like that particular one, we'll call it a popsicle. But in Canada, we have a different thing, which is called a freezy, and it's
I call a popsicle. A popsicle usually has a stick. It's got to have a stick, and then the popsicle's on the end of the stick. Freezies is just in the little bag thing, right? They're great.
like, and you have to cut the top, and then you squeeze everything up. And we particularly have like one brand that we call Mr. Freezy, and so we also just call it a freezy. And that was the biggest thing in the summer. We'd all. Like, oh, I want a freezy, I want a freezy. And there's different colors which have different
I
flavors.
want a freezy right now.
So there's like the purple, which is the grape, and then yellow and lemon and things like this. And so it was,
I love
was
those.
a
We used to
war.
buy those too. We would buy like boxes of them and just, stash them in our freezer.
They were so good in the summer.
We call that just popsicle.
Oh, you call that a popsicle?
I think popsicle is just a term that we use for any kinds of those like flavored ice. Like if it's ice cream, we'll call it like an ice cream bar.
Yeah.
But like any kind of flavored ice on a stick or that you hold
Yeah, no,
is
no.
popsicle.
The Canadian barriers here.
This one is like ice lolly on the stick, and
Ice
then
lolly.
this squeeze, the pushy one is ice pop because it pops out the top.
Oh,
No, we
okay.
just
Maybe.
call that
Yeah.
a freezy.
Okay.
100% a freezy. Yeah.
It's a freezy.
In the UK, we would call this full fat milk.
In the US, we would call this whole milk.
I would say whole
And then
milk.
in Canada, we call it homo milk.
Homo milk.
milk.
Yeah,
Homo milk.
Homogenized.
Homogenized.
Milk? No one's would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the store and get some homogenized milk.
Homogenized milk.
Everywhere, it's like it's not even a bad term. Like we don't use it as a bad term. Everyone knows, like when you say homo milk, it's like, oh, it's homogenized milk. Some people get like, oh, it's a bad word, homo. But it's like, no, for us, homo milk.
Definitely in the States, if you say that, I think
Homo
people would
milk,
take it
I would be like,
offensively,
what?
you know? Like it's an offensive term
Excuse
in
me?
the States.
I think it would take me a minute to realize like what it was, like homogenized milk.
I would definitely think that it's something like rude, like someone's being a jerk.
We also say whole milk sometimes, but usually it's like full fat milk. It's kind of long.
Sometimes
think
we
full
might
fat,
say full
yeah.
fat too, and definitely on labels, I think it says full fat sometimes rather than like whole milk.
So in the UK, we will call this like a 24 pack, or a 12 pack, or a 6 pack. Not that kind of 6 pack, like beer 6 pack.
In the US, we would call this
2-4?
many things that we can call this. We call it a case of beer, a 24 pack. Actually, I think that's kind of more common because we can say a 6 pack also, or a 24 pack, or yeah, a case of beer.
In Canada, we'll say like a 2-4. We'll also say 24 pack. Some people will say, to be more specific, for those who don't drink.
If you say 2-4, do you just say like 6 or 6 pack?
Do you say a 1-2?
Yeah, 1-2.
I don't think we say 1-2. It's a 12 pack.
That sounds like a 1-2.
I know,
A 1-2. Get a
Need a 36 pack.
2-4.
Do I have a 2-4 on aisle 12?
It's the most
Either a
interesting.
staggette or a loony and a toonie.
For me,
Looney
it
and
was
Toonie are
definitely
fun.
like the
Looney and
hen
Toonie
do
are
or
fun.
the
I like
stag.
them.
Yeah, I like the loony and toonie too. Also, I just like the 2-4 because yeah, it sounds like some 2-4. I just picture it like on the walkie-talkie or something, you know.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really fun. I think I want to start having my own vocabulary
stuff,
where
you
I
know,
just
they
use
weren't-
terms from like different countries.
Then you
One
can
is-
just confuse everybody.
Everyone will know where I'm from.
It's great. It really
Accent
makes it fun.
battle.
I'll be like, someone bring the 2-4 to the hen do. Gotta bring the 2-4 to the hen do.
So today we compared the USA, UK, and Canadian words.
If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Good stuff. There weren't any surprises in there, really. I think Western Canada, we have a lot of different words for different things than Eastern Canada. Like the word for pop, like in Canada we call it pop for like a Coca-Cola or like root beer. We call it pop, whereas in the States they call it a soda. You can grab me a soda, but we call it a pop. I'm curious what the Brits call it. You guys let me know in the comments, and we'll see you soon.